Kia ora koutou, katoa. Good morning. I'll take the report as read, Chair, but I'd just like to say a couple of key points, please. The PMO forecast for F25 remains at 510 million this month and is currently within 5% of the project manager's consolidated forecasts. A significant increase in expenditure is anticipated in the second half of the financial year. Achieving these forecasts will require strong program delivery. At present, there is considered low risk as year-to-date actuals continue to exceed monthly forecasts, and expenditure remains slightly ahead of the prior year as of December. On the watch list overview, over 23 projects currently on the watch list. 9 projects have green status, 11 projects are classified as amber, and 3 projects are red, highlighting risks. The key risks contributing to amber and red statuses include budget shortfalls, third-party program interdependencies, constrained timeframes, and program delays. The key watch list updates I'd like to call out is the Halswell Junction Road extension, extended delivery timeline due to complexity of Kiwi Rail signalling works. Parakiore Recreation and Sports Centre revised construction schedule provided by Crown Infrastructure Delivery and Transport Projects. Updates to align with the draft annual plan 25-26, including wheels to wings, Lincoln Road passenger transport improvements. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Interested to hear Halswell Junction Road extension mentioned there. Is there any discussions happening with Kiwi Rail to try and expedite that work to bring it to opening? The community is seeing all the infrastructure in place and thinking, how soon can we get this open?
Absolutely.
Excuse me. Happy New Year, everybody. It's nice to be. Hope you had a great summer. Councillor, yes. In a nutshell, yes. The delay of the block of line was worked through carefully between Kiwi Rail and ourselves to try and mitigate the impact on the whole network, not just the Kiwi Rail network. So we are all, as a team, a joint team, confident that this date will be one that is met. So that's where we're going. Great.
I've just got, not for you, Lynette, but Happy New Year as well. Nikki, in terms of page 181 around the activated sludge plant, so we've got the project's overall status at risk. I'm just keen to understand, so and the financial status is red. I'm just keen to understand how we got to that point, given, like, I'm just thinking sort of through the, and correct me if I'm wrong, we settled our insurance.
Yep.
We put on budget. We baked into the budget over in the LTP the buffer for that, and then we've still got it at risk. So what's driving that?
The reason for that is in the project budget is only 115 at the moment. So the project manager has put it as a risk until the money's in the bank.
Right.
So it's in the draft annual plan. So the project manager is doing the right thing. He's identifying it at risk until we have that budget come through to the project.
Right, so it's a technicality.
Technicality.
Yeah, okay, cool. Because I was going to say that's not. There's certainly no intention not to fund it. And then, so is that what's driving the overall status is at risk? Yeah. So we should have a look at that, because there's the technical side, but there's actually the public-facing side, which says, I personally, given all the hard work that went into the insurance and the sort of challenges in that community with this, we want to demonstrate that level of confidence in that. So maybe let's just pick that up going forward. Yanni.
It's just on that. It's good to get the information, but I've been trying to get a copy of the actual program, because when we made the announcement after the settlement, we had a very high level, very indicative kind of general program. But given that we're starting to get some more specifics, is it possible to get a community facing timeline of the different stages? I mean, almost like you've got the project phases, but having the dates attached to each of those would be quite useful, so community can measure the progress that we're making. Is that something I know? And I also know that you've given me, which was really grateful for, was some initial kind of high level concepts of what it might look like. But yeah, when's it would be good to know when the next kind of key milestone for sharing information with the community will be about what's happening there.
Is that something we could take away?
Yeah, we can take that away.
Yep.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
definitely.
Cool. Okay, thanks. Did you have something else? Ian?
Yeah, I had just a
And then Pauline. Yep.
kind of Kiwi Rail question. I mean, obviously, there's a number of these projects that are all being held up, having issues because of Kiwi Rail, particularly around the cycleways. I see that apparently we no longer need to do the Scrutton's Road crossing. So I'm just wondering if we're able to take the money. Oh, okay. Oh, do we have an update on what's happening with the discussions with Kiwi Rail? Because I just read through this report and see a number of concerning things in terms of increased cost and increased time.
Well, do you want to just clarify? Sorry, 2 points there, because I'm probably the same with you. I think I read over the weekend or last week about Scrutton's Road being fixed or something. So it would be good to clarify that first, and then do you want to talk through Yanni's other point?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Councillor, the Scrutton's Road, the Scrutton's Road is, we are working, as per my previous point to Councillor Peters, sorry, we are working really closely with Kiwi Rail and the Kiwi Rail team. They have had staff changes recently as well, and we're working with them. It isn't a quick process. As you can imagine, we are two big organisations that takes a wee while to get changes happening. On Scrutton's Road, we are working closely to try and do everything we can to avoid closing. At this stage, we do not have a new date for closing the cycleway. However, we still have to do work to mitigate the risk, because the risk profile from Kiwi Rail's perspective is still higher. But we are working closely with them. We are looking to see whether we can do some interim works that will assist things like vegetation clearance, improving sight lines, improving the lead up to the surfacing and the lead up to the crossing, that sort of thing. So we're working closely with them to find a solution, but we will still have to do something about a crossing there.
So, sorry, is something going to come back to us for a decision? I mean, I'm just mindful, like it's pretty hard for me to explain to my community that we put, 7.2 million on for Scrutton's Road and put nothing on for improving Bromley's Road in the draft annual plan. And I'm just wondering at what point can we remove the huge amount of money for Scrutton's Road that we've had to put on budget because of Kiwi Rail and put that into other projects that people are actually wanting done?
When we've cleared up exactly what we need to do there, and we're still working through that with Kiwi Rail.
So
at this stage.
we don't have a time frame for that?
We don't have a time frame for that at the moment, but we are working through it on a daily and weekly basis.
Okay. And will a governance report come
Hang
back to us?
on.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, I was just actually finding the article. So, do you want to just talk to what you've been talking about?
Yeah. So when
And who, maybe?
yeah, so I met with the project manager and with the government relations manager from Wellington. The project manager is based here locally. When the reporter asked me about the project, we only discussed the current work, which is the minor safety improvements. And I said that it was my impression that there was no plan to close it while that work was happening. We did not discuss what would happen if council decided to defund the project and not do the permanent upgrades. So the permanent upgrades will still be required. They don't have a solution for that yet, but that's being worked on at the moment. And in the meantime, they're doing the minor safety improvements. Does that make sense? So I don't know what Kiwi Rail would do if we decided not to do a permanent upgrade. That is not what that discussion with the reporter was about. It was only about current work.
I wonder if
and I was clear with the reporter about that.
Yeah, we should probably just as an action, just in terms of informing the community, maybe take it up with the comms team around clarifying that story, because it reads as if reads like
I
you've
messaged
sorted the problem.
with the reporter last night. It was a different reporter that phoned me to the one that wrote the story.
Yeah, well,
and I did.
Is that an
message them last
action?
night.
I think. Oh, Joss is down the back. Joss, is that an action?
Yeah.
It would be good to correct it, because we don't want the public to
That's
be,
it. So I was going to put a post up today as well to clarify the.
Well, it's probably just getting it back in the paper, because I read it. I actually didn't realise you're right. It was in today's paper, and it looks like it's been sorted. But
So I messaged you I messaged as soon as it came up in the afternoon to say, hey, actually,
Yeah. No, okay.
Yeah.
And through the chair, we're working to find pragmatic solutions for that with Kiwirail, and they are being, we're working hard
Yeah.
to
It
find
was a really
pragmatic solutions to
constructive-
that crossing.
Okay. So let's park that. Let's leave it with Joss to sort it out and correct it. And then, so Yana, you're all, so not Scruddons Road?
Yeah,
Let's
not
move on.
Scun's Road.
Yep.
So thank you. That's good to get that. It'll be good to get that clarified. Just the final thing which I did raise at the informal, but is it possible to get visibility of the organics processing plant project so that we can, just get some oversight about what's happening there as part of this?
Yes, we'll take that away and find
Yeah,
a briefing point for that.
Okay, so I've got Pauline, I've got you, Mark, and I've got everyone.
Yeah.
Pauline, and then
This
Andre,
is
then Tim, then
possibly
Mark.
for Lynette, I'm not sure, but we've got the Te Kaha Streets works on Barbados and Madras and Chuam there. What are the works down at Fitzgerald Chuam? Are they with Te Kaha Streets?
That is my understanding, is that there with Te Kaha Streets, it's about the turnings, and where we're trying to, it's about the turning off. It's about improving the intersections.
because Chuam Street will be one-wayed soon.
Yep.
Do you know when that's going to be?
No, I can get the project team to give you, to do a written update on
Yeah,
progress.
because what you've got now is
Progress
the
project.
businesses in there between Barbados and Fitzgerald have got no access, basically. The people, it's difficult to get down Barbados now, and now you can't enter Chuam from Fitzgerald Ave.
Yes.
And the only way in really is from, I guess, the Madras Street coming down, and that's a nightmare between Madras and Barbados. So is there any way, A, we can get a time frame for that work finishing, and B, speed it up? Like when you go through that area on the weekend, there's nothing happening. Is there any opportunity for weekend and night work for extra teams? I mean, I know you've probably looked at it, but it seems it would be beneficial to those businesses if it was speeded up.
Through the chair, I'll, that's good feedback, and we do need to do it. And I will ask the team to review the TM in the first instance and see whether there's a better, more logical way of running it.
Yeah.
And we'll get an update on timings for
That
you.
would be helpful, thank you, because I mean, it's not a residential area, so it should be.
And you'll
Thank you.
you'll circle back to us on that.
Yes, we
Yep,
will.
great,
Yep,
thank
through,
you. Cool.
through the office to see you.
Thanks, Pauline. Andre.
Thank you. I just requested yesterday for an update on the Wigram Hayden intersection.
Yep. A very brief update I can give you this morning is that we are, there is a consent, the consents have been lodged. We're waiting to finish to formalise the programming until that consent has been through the process. So there's a consent that impacts that site.
A community meeting was held at Ngāpunawa in May, and the timeframe given was that the job would be built and completed basically by now or by this summer. But of course, there's no consent 7 months later. Is this able to be communicated with the community?
So
just because there's the mailing list for Ngāpunawa and surrounding area to let people know what's going on.
So again, I'll ask the project manager to do a sort of a flyer type update of where they're at and make sure it goes through the community board and out to those groups.
Cool, thank you.
Well, thanks, Andre. Tim, then Mark, then Phil, then Aaron, then Tyler.
Thank you. Just with regards to Pirakiori and the, it's hopefully the handover will be the 2nd September. That's a rephase, and that it will be up and running by the end of 2025. It's an incredibly complicated building with it, and I know we're designing the handover for our staff to upskill, but it is a public design for public access and a complicated build with regards to fluoride.
And the question is,
if there is a delay, is it the Crown that is going to pick up the extra cost that the ratepayers will be picking up with that staffing? Because you cannot suddenly have staff on the day. We've got our staff have done a great job with phasing in and hiring and upskilling, but there comes a point where if there is a delay, we're going to have a whole lot of staff twiddling their thumbs.
good question. That is, yeah.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I was getting to it, Sam. I was getting to it, mate.
Nigel? No, it actually was a good question.
Yeah, no. Hopefully, I can give an equally as good answer.
Only if it's good news.
No, in terms of Tim, we're working really hard with CID to make sure that there is no delay, and if there is, then it's flagged early. The reporting that we've done this time on the 2nd of September, we're pretty confident that's the date they're going to hit. In terms of most of the complex stuff is out in terms of the water, so in terms of there's only finishing and minor details. All the complex stuff that could potentially have a delay has been completed, so we're pretty confident that that September date's going to be hit. Therefore, we will be opening at the end of 2025. To answer your question, in terms of depends when we become aware of it, how we will work our way through, but it's pretty hard to have the conversation with CID about possibilities, but certainly we'll do everything we can to make sure we can have our staff work at other sites, do the training and not recruit them too early. So we're only about to go out for our team leaders in the next month or so, so we've still got a little bit of time to shift that risk.
Great, thank you. Mark.
Thank you. Lynette, you probably want to come back to the table on this one. Back to our favourite Kiwi Rail topic, and this time on the South Express. I'm just reading in there about Kiwi Rail and the intersection design. And are there hold-ups on that one, and are we progressing well with that?
Councillor Parker Street.
Yes.
That is probably, it's not progressing as fast as others, but we are looking at what we can do in the interim to keep moving. But it is still on the program, and we are still working.
Very
on
good.
it.
Cool. And I guess while I got you there too, that Greater Waterloo Gilberthorpe's Parker,
Yes.
that's still in the mind to
Yes.
have a look at that down the track.
Yeah, and we're still looking at how do we manage that, and Kiwi Rail crossing, and how do we manage it as a project.
Yep. Rather complex, I'm sure.
It is very.
Thank you.
On page 179, the South Brighton Estuary Edge South Shore thing, I see once again we're getting held up by ECAN. They're objecting about the what's required to protect the bund. Are they being realistic, or are they just trying to dream up problems to hold it up so we're not getting it done? Please.
I probably wouldn't want to comment on that one, sorry.
Chicken. Okay, so we need to give, in my view, we need to give them a rev up, because I was told that this was going to be, the consent was going to be out before Christmas, and here we go again, and it just goes on because people down there want it done, and the longer we wait, the longer it'll take. So if we can give someone a bit of a jolly along, would be good.
So Lisa's got an update.
I'm told that we should get an update this week from ECAN.
So the update is we're getting an update.
That we get an update, but it is good to know because that'll be quite a significant next step for us. I don't know what the update contains, but we should be hearing back.
I'm sure that Brent and Andrew have heard the Mayor's request, and that will be actioned. Okay, Aaron.
The update could be giving a date for an announcement, which would be good. My question is from page 187, the Te Kaha surrounding streets. I think it was at the previous meeting of this. I asked if we could see how we believe people are going to access the stadium, mainly on the big events, not the smaller stuff. That will be irrelevant, but given the questions raised today around Chum Street and others, it would be really good to see the modelling, because it's a number of years since we were shown the numbers of how people would travel there, but not the actual movements. And it has on when you look at the project description, the last line is support traffic management during larger events. So there must be a traffic management plan. It would be good to see that.
So let's get the team to.
Through the chair, there is a working group set up to look at this, and that's chaired by Christchurch NZ. The police are involved, fire and emergency are involved. There's a whole load of stakeholders involved in that group, and we're just working through the details of it now. We have got all the modelling, so we can send you all the modelling, but we're working out the implications of that modelling in terms of how we manage the streets through temporary traffic management plans. So it is being worked on, and we'll keep you up to date with the outcomes.
I would have thought we'd looked at that modelling before we did any hard work on streets.
We can't relitigate the decision that's been made. So if we want additional stuff, that's which I think is what you're asking, but we can't go back given we've already let contracts.
Well, we need to give the public confidence that what we've done is the right thing.
So probably back to the point I made earlier, though. The point of these is to monitor the progress of the capital program and the delivery of it. So we can't relitigate the decision. You'd have to do that by way of notice of motion or something. So,
well, I wouldn't need a notice of motion if we had confidence in what is going to be implemented as far as the major events go. The others, like, I'm sure it'll be fine.
So I think the team have said they'll get you some information.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, thank you. Tyler and then Yanni. Have I got you on? Have you got another question? You go, Tyler, and then I've just written you down again.
Sorry, Lynette, you're playing musical chairs. It might be for the rest of the team too, but it's just checking in how we're going with the craft projects in Riccarton. It's not on the list in the capital.
The craft list,
Because those ones are actually getting delivered, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. So the craft report was last month, wasn't it?
Oh, it's going to be coming out next month.
Next month. So we've got a craft update next month, but the Riccarton projects, Dean's Ave, I believe, is coming to the board in early March for a decision. And I have got another one down here. Bear with me 1 second, Councillor. The work near Girls High is planned. Engagements completed by February, back to board in April is what they're. But it's minor works, so it will be built soon afterwards.
Yeah,
so it's all progressing really well.
Awesome. Major for the community. Yeah,
cool.
Thanks.
Great, thanks, Tyler. I'll go Victoria and then we'll finish with Yanni. Yep.
Thank you, Sam. Lynette, stay there if you please. I'm talking about the Norwest Arc route, and I see that we've got an overall status at risk on that one, and it looks that it's the time status that's at risk there. My question is around the financial status, which is showing it green, but the narrative says that you're developing different delivery options to try and gain greater cost certainty. So the narrative's implying that you haven't got cost certainty, and it looks like the completion date is also going out, and usually it follows that when a project extends in a timeline, the cost of the project goes up as well. So you're not showing any of the financial status at risk. So the question is around how confident are you with the financial status of that project, given those factors that I've just mentioned?
Through the chair, I'll come back with a detailed response, but as an update in the public arena now, we have a large chunk of it under contract. So our confidence around delivering it is higher because we are now under contract, and the cost expectations around that, we've been working really closely with the contractor. So the section under contract is from from Brookside. I'm at the wrong end of this. From Brookside along Aorangi to Condell. So that is under contract, and that is actually underway with sewer works going on as well at the same time. So that's probably part of the confusion in the commentary, but I will get a detailed update back.
Given the history to some of these projects, I'm really keen to look for that cost certainty, please.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep, will do.
Thank you. And finally, Yanni.
Just wanted to just clarify on the South Express route, the extra 8.8 million, has that already been put in as part of our feedback on the draft annual plan, or is it a new request? And I'm just concerned that that's a significant amount of money. And I guess I was just trying to understand what options did you look at to not spend the extra money, but to actually value engineer or redesign to fit within the existing budget versus seeking additional costs?
I think I'll have to, through the chair, request we come back in writing on that one.
Yep.
And the detail of that, it's quite a detailed question. I do know that the extra dollars have been baked into the annual plan, what is going to be proposed in the annual plan. So I'll come back and make sure I've joined up all that feedback.
Thank you. And then Aaron, last. Yep.
Yeah, just only because Dean's Ave was raised before, and it came up during the quiet media period that Dean's Ave might narrow to one lane and put in speed bumps. Does that go to the community board, or would that go to council?
Community board. It's not. My understanding is it's not proposed to narrow the whole lot to one lane. There's section of it that was being proposed to narrow, but we've had some questions asked, so that feedback's coming back too.
So that delegation,
It's
even though it's
community
part
board.
of the major network,
It's going
is
to community board.
community board again. Yeah, I know, but we get no say at that point. We'll just cop the flak, but that's all right.
Okay, all right. So Phil's happy to move this. Pauline's happy to second it. All in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you. Thanks both. Yeah. Okay, let's get the Te Kaha team up, or the One New Zealand Stadium at Te Kaha team up.